I live in Georgia, the South. When I think about it, sweet tea and soul food comes to mind. A unique feature about living in the South are pecans, a tree nut native to the southeastern U.S. Growing up, my family and I would go to our local pecan tree and we would pick bags and bags of those cherished treats right off the ground. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite treats, the praline. To start, you'll need 2 cups of pralines, 6 tablespoons of butter, 2 cups of white sugar, 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I prefer to use the Mexican brown sugar. I believe it provides a better flavor. The molasses and the way that it's just processed, I think it lends to a better cook. 1 cup of heavy cream. In this instance, we had to substitute for half and half, but also buttermilk works just as fine. Uh, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a half a teaspoon of salt. So once you have your ingredients together, go ahead and put the sugar as well as the butter into the pot, like we're doing here. And after that, you're just going to want to put it on a high heat. Um, when it comes to cooking with, just straight up sugar, uh, you have to put it at a high heat in order to make it liquefy, get to that caramel state. So you're gonna be over the stove for a few minutes, for about 10 to 20 minutes, trying to get to that high heat. And what I would have done differently is I would have chopped up those that brown sugar, chopped up that butter, so that it would actually cut down on the time that it would take to cook it. If you look closely to the rim of the pot, you'll see that there's starting to be some bubbles forming with that white sugar. Here we have it a little bit further into the process. Just stir it up, make sure everything gets heated up well, nice and hot. It's got to be hot. As we get further into it, you'll see that it's going to start to bubble up, and that's when you know you're going to be in good business. Here we are. Everything is we're further to the process. It's starting to bubble up. The butter is mixed in with that sugar. The brown sugar hasn't really cooked down all the way, but along with some more stirring, you keep doing it, it'll get there. We just poured in that 1 cup of the half and half, and you just keep mixing it, and mixing it. Just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. And that beautiful brown. This is what lends to that creamy caramel taste and texture that you expect from good pralines. As you can see here, we've got it on the high heat. It's very high heat. This stuff is bubbling up really nice, and you just keep stirring it, keep stirring it, keep stirring it. Some recipes call for baking soda. I've done that before. I do not like it. I think it's just too much of an extra step. I think it makes a mess once you add that. If you're using buttermilk, that acidity mixing in with that baking soda, it's just going to make it bubble over and spill. So I omit the baking soda. But as you can see, we've got that viscosity coming up when you pick it up with the spoon. And here we are. This is at the cool down process. Once you get it up to that high heat, once it gets to the right spot and everything is melted away and smooth and liquefied, then you take it off, let it cool down a little bit, pour in the pecans, and as you keep stirring in those pecans into that mixture, it's going to cool down. And as you keep stirring and stirring, as it cools and cools, you're going to see that it's going to start the viscosity and the stickiness, the way the liquid sticks to the side of the pan, the side of the pot, is going to start to get stickier and stickier, and that's when you know you're going to be in that golden spot to put everything onto the tray, put everything onto your pan. When you put it onto the pan, use a wax paper, put it on wax paper. That way, once it cools off, it'll just peel right off. And so you just keep stirring it, making sure everything gets covered up real well. We didn't show this part, but we already added in the 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavoring, and that also is a Mexican vanilla. Uh, but we add that in once it cooled down, and we stirred everything in there. That's when we added it. But right here, we're putting the clusters into the wax paper tray, and this actually produced enough for 2 trays. I had to use 2 trays. So it was a very good amount. I was very happy with the result. Um, the whole process behind the pecans getting that the pralines getting that creamy uh, texture, that wonderful mouthfeel, is that it has to air dry. It has to air dry. So don't put it in the fridge or anything like that to make it cool down faster. It has to go through that process of the water expelling from the treat, and that's what gives it that wonderful texture. And here is the finished product. Actually, it's still in the process of cooling, so we're not officially done with it yet.
And some of them you
But
might want to use as
yes, this
dippers.
this is something that I'm very proud of. And since then, I've done about 2 or 3 other batches worth since that time. And as you can see, they're fully shaped. They come off the pan very well. Once
You
again, I'm
press
very
one button.
proud. Thanks for watching.